Cuba, it's me! Welcome to episode 360 of The Willow Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling. 360 in 360 days? Now, I'm not usually the type to brag, but I think that is quite impressive. And I am 5 episodes away from the end of The Willow Show. How amazing! How many people would actually say they're going to do one episode a day for an entire year and actually come through? Mind you, I still have 5 left, so I got to keep the streak going. But I'm just getting excited. It's to actually accomplish one of your goals. It feels great. So today on the Willow Show, we're going to talk about looking at life through the wrestling perspective, or the wrestling glasses, however you want to say it. How has being a wrestler or a referee or a manager or a really great fan of wrestling changed the way you view things in your everyday life? Or even maybe change the way you act in everyday life. Like, I know for me, I used to be so shy, and so then I would get jobs, and I didn't want to be like in customer service or anything like that. But even though I was shy when it came to wrestling, I was still what I always wanted to do, and I had confidence in my ability. So although I was shy, I didn't mind putting myself out there. Well, the more I put myself out there, the more my shyness, I got over it. Mind you, I'm still a little bit shy, but not what I was. So then I would get to jobs. I remember in 2001, I was working at New York Fries in some factory, and wrestling on the weekends and stuff. And when I started there, I was so shy. I never wanted to be the one on the cash. I'd rather just be flipping the fries. And then as I got more comfortable because of wrestling, I became the guy on the thing, like, "Hi there, you want some fries?" Like, calling people over, and it just really changed me, my shyness, and it's really helped me, and it continues to help me. I keep getting more and more less scared of embarrassing myself, which I do all the time, but I'm just like, I get over it. I'm not so hard on myself anymore. And also, I find with the pain threshold too, you go through things in wrestling, and then you keep going. I posted that match of me versus Sean Spears a couple weeks back. And early in the match, I smashed my head on the corner of this chair, and I was bleeding, and I had a huge nasty gash, and it bled the whole match, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was in a lot of pain, and I kept going. Well, nowadays, I'll be at work, and someone's like, "Oh, I hurt my finger, I think I need to go home." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Seriously? Oh, I stubbed my toe," or "Oh, I sprained my ankle," or something like that. "Oh, I can't work, I can't do anything, oh, poor me." Or people will say, "Oh, they're sick. Oh, I'm so sick, I can't get out of bed." And I'm like, I remember working 55 hours a week and having the flu and going and wrestling and being dead and then wrestling the next day. It just makes me feel other people are so much weaker. They're not. They're just normal people. And that's the thing. When you become a wrestler, you're not really normal. You're putting your body through stuff that the body is not designed to take, but you build up a tolerance for it. And nowadays, when people complain to me about pain, so it's hard being a father of a cameraman, because when he hurts himself, I have to be, I have to be soothing and nice about it, because I have to remember not everybody's a wrestler. But it's so funny, and lucky for me, the cameraman has actually got an incredibly high pain tolerance. But it's so funny, when people are like, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that," and it's like, you just realize you can do everything. Even when I had some problems where I had to get the cameraman, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to start walking everywhere, I just look at it like, good, that's good cardio for wrestling. It'll keep me in shape. Everything turns full circle into wrestling, even if I'm only wrestling once or twice a month. And conversations, I find conversations always somehow get turned into wrestling, and then you find people don't care, so you stop bringing it up. But in your mind, someone will be saying, "Oh, so and so did this and this," and you're like, "Oh, that'd be a good angle for wrestling." Or so and so said this. "Oh yeah." Or people say certain things, and they're like, "Well, that's the bottom line," and you're like, "'Cause Stone Cold said so." You just have to everything can be sorted out or traced back to wrestling, and that's how it is with me. I know, how often do you guys think about wrestling during the day? For me, it's constant. Even if I'm focusing on something else or paying attention to my cameraman, there's still a separate part of my brain that can constantly just think wrestling. still got a couple percentage of in there always working, multitasking to keep me onto the wrestling. And like, I also find like in life when any situation comes up, it makes you think of wrestling. Like, you see like, I don't know, you're walking down the street and you see someone trip and fall and you're like, whoa, they should have RKO'd him out of there. Or like, imagination of the wrestling, it always comes up. And I'm always thinking of different moves. And like, everything, like I said, I can somehow twist everything into wrestling. Like, it could be something that has nothing to do with wrestling, but I'll find a way to somehow, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but somehow incorporate it into wrestling or somehow make it connected to wrestling. And it just really has changed my whole perspective on everything in life. Like I was saying about like the pain threshold and stuff like that, and just performing in front of people, not just doing the moves, like the physicality of it, being on the stage where everyone can see you, all the eyes are on you, and man, it can be hard. So now I find it's not so bad. Like before, when I used to like go and do stuff where, like, if I had to do something in school when I was a kid and it had to do like a presentation or something, it would be really hard for me. But now wrestling has helped me with that because I'm used to having the eyes all on me. So like, if I'm doing something like at work related, or I have to do something at Cooper's school where people are watching me, or I'm meeting with someone, it's much easier, especially one-on-one, because I'm used to being in the crowd and there's like 200 people staring at you, and you end up getting your confidence because you do it sometimes and you don't screw up too bad, and you just keep doing matches and matches, and then you have hundreds of matches and you're like, wow, generally most of them went well. So like, play the odds. So like, even if it might go bad, the odds are in your favor because so many times it hasn't gone bad. But I want to hear from you guys. How has wrestling changed your perspective of life? And how much does wrestling come up in your everyday life? And how often can you take things and somehow connect them to wrestling? Because I want to hear from you guys, because we're always on the W.I.L.L.I.W show. Like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba.